I'm Chris Jube, author and publisher to best-selling homeschool speech and debate curriculum, and I'm here to tell you about the best way to write speeches. Homeschool leagues offer limited preparation events like impromptu, Mars Hill, apologetics, oratory speeches like persuasive and expository, as well as your numerous on-the-fly speeches and debate rounds. Now, I have degrees on communication skills and master's programs and things like that. I've studied a lot of really smart guys when it comes to public speaking. Now, I want to plow through the stacks and stacks of books that I've read and theories on public speaking and give you the nuts and bolts of how to write a speech even on the fly. Now, if you've been to a homeschool speech and debate tournament, you know what I'm talking about. You have witnessed the most impressive speeches and debates from young people. It literally blows your mind and gives you hope for the future. But I'm here to tell you that there is a method to the madness, and I've taught a lot of these champion speakers and debaters on how to apply a method to writing a champion level speech even on the fly. It's called the SCORRE Method, S-C-O-R-R-E. I think it's purposely misspelled so you will remember it better. And it spells out a sequential step to writing a speech. Now, I'm going to give you the method in a minute, but let me give a shout out to its actual creator and developer of the method, and that's Ken Davis. I've been to many of his programs, as well as top level speakers, professional speakers, executives, pastors, people who make a living off of public speaking have gone to Ken to learn this method. And actually, on a side note, my wife wrote a viral article about the SCORRE Method at michaelhyatt.com. I'll leave a link down below so you can check that out. But back to you and what you need to do to prepare for your upcoming tournament. That's write a speech. Whether it's an oratory speech your mom is making you write, or just a method that will work for your limited prep event that you're jumping into, the sequential method of SCORRE is the way to do it. The first letter in SCORRE is subject. You have to choose a subject. It's kind of a no-brainer, but it takes some thought to think through. However, the mistake that people make when choosing a subject is they choose a subject that is way too broad for anybody to get their brains around. Ken Davis actually recommends 4 guidelines to choosing a subject. First, relate to your audience. Second, choose a subject that you know something about. Third, choose a subject that you believe in. And fourth, choose something that you have a limited amount of experience in. You as a competitor could choose something in your homeschool that you can learn all those things and have a good time. But the next step in the SCORRE method is choosing a central theme, the C in SCORRE. The purpose here is to narrow your subject down to a concise bit of information. Now, for those of you who are writing oratories or expository speeches where you have your homeschool time to prepare for your speech, note that your central theme may change as you research it. Remember, one of my main themes in all of my videos: let the research guide you. So as you research on the topic, you might come up with a niche or a niche or whatever you want to pronounce it. You'll come up with a concise bit of information that you will want to speak on. That's your central theme. The third step in the acronym is objective. This is the heart of it all. The objective is a statement that contains the subject as well as the central theme of what you're talking about that indicates how you will accomplish the proposition of your speech. And here's a little magic the champion speakers have. They have actually within that objective statement a key word, and that word helps define their whole speech. See, I have a proposition here that I'm giving you. Every homeschooler can write a champion speech, even on the fly. You see how that goes? That begs the question of how. I have to come up with that key word of how. I've already given it to you. You may not even have noticed. By following the steps of the SCORRE method. What's the key word in that statement? Steps. And we've already covered 3 of them. And you didn't even know we were covering them. You see how great this is? The speech just writes itself. So when you come up with that key word in your objective statement, you can write a champion speech, even on the fly, by following the steps of the SCORRE method. Brilliant. The rest of the speech is kind of the work of your speech. It's the rationale and your resources. The rationale, without exception, leads everyone back to that objective. This is where you repeat the objective over and over again. Step number 1 is this. Step number 2 is this. I actually have 6 steps in there, and they follow the acronym of the SCORRE method. A couple of things about a rationale is that 1, it should be concise. You notice SCORRE method is a concise method. But secondly, they should be brief. You know, the step 1, step 2, step 3, boom, 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 boom. In fact, 6 is kind of a lot. 3, oftentimes I coach my students, 3 is the magic number.
3 is a magic number.
Everyone can get their head around the 3 criterion, whatever they are. Then it's the resources, and this is really your research. This is your evidence. This is your quotes. These are your other people who have gone down this road of your proposition. You just fill in the blanks, and now it builds credibility for your speech. It's not just you talking. It's the philosopher, it's scripture, it's research, it's reading that you've done. Oftentimes, some of your speeches, especially if they're oratory speeches, will quote a lot of people in it. Resources bring light, and it brings color, it brings breadth to your subject, and that's a good thing. And that's what makes a champion speech a shoulder above the rest, and that's where you want to be to get that trophy. Lastly, evaluation. Now, this is the fun part of it, especially when you as a competitor are bringing speech from tournament, or actually from club to in front of your parents to tournament to tournament to tournament, and getting all this feedback from judges. That's the magic of this, because you can continue to refine and polish and adjust your speech to make it better and better. You take those ballots, you read them, you try to understand what your audience thought of your speeches, and you adjust and you adapt. Ask yourself, did it meet a need to your audience? Do you know enough of what you're talking about? Did you practice what you were talking about? Do you have a strong objective? Is it written the way it should be written? Does your rationale lead to your objective? These are all really great evaluative questions that you continue to do, and it becomes a spiral of going through the SCORRE method to improve and just make your speeches awesome. Now, I know that you can write a champion speech, even on the fly, utilizing the SCORRE method. I know you can. Why? Because I have trophies galore of my kids doing this stuff. They've taken their speeches and they refined them, and they've developed them. They've developed strong objective statements and walked through the SCORRE method. That's part of your coaching in your club. Walk through the SCORRE method and write champion speeches, even on the fly. So that's how to write a champion speech, champion, and we'll see you at some tournaments.